Hey, got my man back here tonight. Hope he's feeling a lot better. Caleb, how you doing?
Oh, much better than I was last week. But exciting race from Charlotte. In a so far a pretty dominant season from the SMB guys. You got Ross, our defending champion, winning a race. Josh Waltis winning at Charlotte. Rob Sherwood, who's kind of bringing that momentum back. And of course, not part of SMB, but Crank Bell winning at the beginning of the season. So 4 out of 4, we've had different winners. Hopefully we can keep the trend going tonight here at Dover.
You're right. I mean, I tell you what, it was a good race, like you just said, at the Charlotte. An exciting and a wild turn of events, too, because, we got qualifying here. Looks like Jordan Trash right now is going to set her own pole for the moment. Got Jacob Grant right along with him. But one of the guys last week there, Michael Kruger, dominating, but just found trouble. Him and I believe it was Justin Duran, two of the trucks last week. They just found trouble later on, but dominated. I mean, just literally dominated most of that race. And like what you mentioned beforehand, uncharted trucks too. So, hey, if you're out there and you need a teammate or something, them guys might be two you might want to think about picking up because they've been pretty strong so far.
Yeah, and I guess that just goes to show, only 3 uncharted trucks make the field each race. So I mean, the fact that 2 of them were running up front, 2 out of the 3 were running up front last week, and contending for the win, is really, really, really good. And I mean, that I guess that goes to show anyone watching, they can come in here, as long as they qualify in, they can make the race, and maybe they can run up front too.
Absolutely. And you talk about that too. And I mean, because right now Kruger's sitting there in 4th place spot, Duran's sitting there in the 6th place, so they're obviously in the race. And we talk about the charter system that had been brought last season. It's been a good addition here to the racing league. I've enjoyed it. It's making it interesting because it's brought about some very good fields here too, and interesting on the qualifying because it looks like right now we got about over 40 cars, but I think, what is it, 38, 36 of them only qualify in?
40 will make it. 37 are chartered. 3 of them have to qualify their way in as unchartered.
And that means Fred might not make it.
No, Fred's chartered. So Fred,
so Fred put Kevin, who's then back there in the back, because right now, as we're gridding up right now here, our uniformity grid, the last Turner, Higginbotham, I hope I said it right, Nathan Brown, Becker, and Garcia are kind of like the last 4 or 3 to 4 there. Is Jason chartered?
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
Yeah.
However, when we take the green, or even when we're pacing, we should be able to see on our telemetry who didn't make it, because they'll be grayed out.
Oh yeah. That'll be one way. But let's to the grid right here. We're gonna show you what we got. It's a big field at Dover. We don't talk much about Dover. I mean, well, we do talk much about Dover, but this track can be a good track, or it can be very treacherous of a track on guys because, well, they call it the Monster Mile, and that's Miles the monster out here. He likes chewing up on cars.
Yes, he does. And he'll sneak up on you too. This is actually the track I got my first league race win in, here on iRacing. And I mean that night, I mean, towards the end, especially going through the green white checkers, you take the green flag and then a wreck would happen. You'd slow it back down, everyone would get bundled back up, and then so I'm hoping tonight is not like that, where one wreck happens and cautions breed cautions. Hopefully everyone can kind of get into a rhythm, get their marks. Of course, sometimes accidents happen. I'm sure we'll see a caution or 2, but hopefully nothing more than that. But you know, it is a tricky place to drive.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one here. We got 135 laps going to be here. One of the very few concrete tracks left here too. You know, Caleb, there's not many of them. Most of them went, full asphalt, or their turns are concrete, and then maybe the straightaways are asphalt. So not many concrete style tracks left.
No, and because it's concrete, it gets the surface gets really hot, and you know, I'm not sure what the weather's looking like for this race. But as we're about to go green, the JB Designs 135 here, this track, depending on the weather, can get really hot and can really cook your tires. But you know, as they're going into turn 1 now.
Yeah, I just threw up the weather there for the viewers to look and see what the track temp is and what we're at. Green flag flies are racing here Dover style. You got Trask and company up front with Collins. It's going to be side by side for a while. This place usually ends up being kind of a single file race, but you know, you can get some double file early on. It kind of makes me think about too of that semi-aggressive style. You've got to get what you can get maybe on the start because the tires can kind of fall off. We talked about Kruger there too, or I talked about him earlier. They got almost 3 wide up front and really racing there with Collins Grant and company. That Kruger machine, I'm gonna tell you, those guys, they've come here to compete. They might not be chartered, but they definitely got some fast trucks.
Yeah, and something I'm starting to kind of notice with these trucks, and the way they're kind of moving around, you know, so too wide for the lead here. Coming off the corner, you're kind of starting to see these drivers kind of, I wouldn't say get scared of the wall, but they're drifting up the track as they should. And there's a hump coming off the corner, and you'll see it, you know, as they're coming off the corner there. But they're coming off the wall, and then they're zooming it down to the low lane. Hopefully that doesn't cause any wrecks, but it's something I'm kind of noticing off the start.
Absolutely. Right now, man, you got Collins out front. Kruger's right there behind him with Trask falling back to third. Durant, he's another machine. That's what I was talking about earlier. The Kruger and Durant, 2 trucks, dominated last week. It seems like they're about to pick up the same picture they were a week ago to get out front. Oh, contact! Collins trying to get to him, but he goes way back in the back. Wow. So let's go back and watch that again. I don't know if maybe there was some contact between him and Kruger. Very easily to do at this track, too. We'll talk about it here is there is kind of a bump and just maybe some slight contact between the two there. Going into these turns, this track is kind of, I guess, lack of a better word, Caleb, weird. Going into the turns and then coming on the straights because it's all banked, the straights and the turns, but there's a slight difference in the banking, and so you've got kind of a little dip coming out of the turn.
Yeah, and especially when you're entering in on the low side, it's kind of hard to scrub the speed and keep the momentum. Let's see what happens here.
Just had them all just racing there. I mean, another thing we'll talk to, you almost have to diamond the turn in. When you do that, and you know you've raced enough, when you diamond the turn, you're leaving that inside open. I always say leaving the door open. It's kind of a, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's kind of I don't know. The guy behind you is either going to say, "Oh wow, he's leaving the whole inside open," but you're really not. You're diamonding it off into it. So a lot of times, what you'll see on this track is the guy behind thinks that door's open, and he sticks his nose in there, and then usually, man, you see things like that. So just kind of one of the products of this track, I think.
From what I seen with the wreck, I mean, it looked like Collins thought that the 44 was going to back out and give him the inside, or he tried to pinch him. Honestly, I don't understand it.
Yeah, well, that's that diamond effect I was talking about. You know, how you kind of like diamond in, almost like Charlotte, too. You think you diamond in.
Yeah.
For a split second, you're behind the guy, and you're like, oh, I got the whole inside open. And before you know it, by the time you stick your nose in there, guess what? It's not open.
Yeah. No. I understand. Like what I'm saying is like, He was at the wall and he was coming down, and either he was trying to pinch him or he thought he was going to back out of it and then he was going to take the inside. It is just really early to do that. I get these guys want to be in first, they want to lead the race, but you know, this goes back to what we talk about every week, Joe. Patience.
It does. Yeah.
It is too early to be doing that, and unfortunately he has a wrecked car now. So it sucks, but you know, it's racing.
It is.
I think it was self-inflicted, but it is what it is. As we're going 2 by 2, lights are off in the pace truck, and we'll go green this time.
Literally gonna set them up here, stack them up side by side. Kruger, Trash, Duran, man, you got Grant up front there with Sherwood there in 5th. Dead here tonight. Got us a new sponsor here for the race tonight too, don't we?
Yeah, Jordan Brockle Designs. If I could just go ahead and pull up everything here. So he'll do iRacing hero cards, team designs, logo creation, and much more if you just ask him. He's in our Discord. He is part of the league, has been for a while. Yeah, so he's sponsoring the race, the JB Designs 135 here at Dover.
Going to be a good solid one here, like you just said, man, tonight. We also got Uniformity coming on board, has been on board here with us, you know, for the last several weeks so far. Also still got, man, our Sports Academy here tonight. We'll talk more about the sponsors. We're Green Flag, been here so far for the Clean Racing League. Dover, got Kruger out front. Oh, caution. Who we got? Jamie. Back here in the back, see what happened to him. Get on. Back here messing it up, man. 3 wide, 2 wide. We're blinking right there. Oh, he got tight. Truck inside of him got tight, and he got up into him.
I feel like that was a chain reaction. Oh, he's gonna get a penalty for that because he crossed.
Yeah, we'll watch it one more time here. Who it was on the inside?
It looked like the blink caused the car behind, the truck behind, to react.
68, I think it was. Like Kyle Payne was the one. We'll watch some Kyle's.
Yeah, so,
okay, well, that up just a minute. Yeah, because he was right on the back door. It looked like the white machine in front of him. Watch it one more time here. I'm with you. I think the blink right there, and then the 85 had to check up, and I think 68 just had a momentum and it drove him up the track, and just 40, and yeah, right there you see him. Everybody just slides, and yeah.
You can see the checkup from the 85 back just as soon as the 77 reappears. The checkup going into the corner. Of course, everyone was already slowing down just because of the high-speed nature of this track.
Oh yeah.
And then you have a car appear in front of you, and it's kind of like, oh, you know, it's kind of
where'd he come from?
So that's always one of the sketchiest things about racing, especially iRacing, is when you're racing, and you know, netcode's always going to be a thing, a topic, especially for as long as this is a thing. You know, you're racing somebody, and there's either going to be a bubble, you know, we like to call it netcode, or the truck just decides to disappear, and
yeah.
you have to
Virtual
race
world,
air.
Man.
Yeah, you just have to race air and hope that the person races what they've normally been racing, which is their regular racing line. You have to hope they're predictable and don't reappear inside of your truck.
Yeah. I mean, folks, like what he's talking about, we're on a virtual world. Things happen. There's a lot of things you can't control. So, Mother Nature, internet, outages, stuff like that. It's some wild stuff over the years. Looks like we're going back green. And yeah, I talked about it, Caleb. I know last week, man, Charlotte, I know you tuned in on it and all, but these two guys up front, they dominated that race. Just some unfortunate circumstances between the two, you know, got them put back, and then Altus was able to get up there and like I always talk about with Altus, man. He waits in the back of the bushes. And next thing you know, boom, he's up front. What happened last week? And speaking of Altus, I'm trying to find him on the track. There he is, 13th. So kind of normal. New paint job too, by the way.
Is we're going to go back green with 44 and 2 truck on the front row. But yeah, I say generally he runs the white Sinbar Solar truck. Now he's in the black Sinbar. So, like we were just talking about, he was having a little bit of issues earlier. His power had gone out. It had come back on like an hour or two before the race.
Well, there's snowstorms, man, around about too. So everybody want to feel safe.
Yeah, it's gonna get crazy. You add a little bit of water, people can't drive. Now imagine you add snow. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be happy playing some snow. We haven't had it.
I
in
wish
like
it would
2
snow
years.
where it was at. I'm at, man. But mountains got it. Where I'm at, we ain't getting enough. Well, I talked about too here this track, and it's pretty much what I was speaking of. We got kind of single file here. You can see maybe a little bit of passing going on right here around the third place spot. You got Trask and Grant going at each other, but the two trucks out front, Kruger and Durant, I'm gonna say that they're teammates. And the reason I say they're teammates is just because the sponsors that are on their truck, they kind of coexist with each other. So I'm gonna say that they're teammates. They work. If they're not, they worked together last week like they were teammates, and right now working very well together again out front. Another guy we talk about a lot here too, Caleb, Rob Sherwood. I mean, he's one that they can get up there. Jacob Grant right there battling too, Justin Carey. So a lot of the veteran guys here at Clean Racing League. I mean, but it's good to see new guys come in here too, man. It means the league's growing.
Yeah, I mean, consistently we are getting 35 to 40 truck fields, and when Fred started this league, oh man, years ago, I don't think he thought it would get to this point to where it is now. And Chris Smith took over the reins, and now now we have all these, we have sponsors, we're having like cap fields. It's definitely the biggest league I've been a part of, and having raced in the league, and now commentating, it's definitely the highlight of my week, being here. So, and seeing these races unfold, I love this league, I really do. I didn't really like racing the people in it, but that's just because I'm competitive. I'm much happier here in the booth, but yeah, with all the sponsors, Sports Academy, JB Designs, Uniformity, Grant Designs, they really make the league what it is, with what we're able to do. As we're seeing a passer second here, Jacob Grant.
He did this last week, came through the field pretty good, man. Right now, he's showing what he's got. Got some power under that machine here as he falls back in line there in third place. Right behind Durant. Durant still up into the second place spot. You talk about one of the sponsors there. You got Sports Academy, which Grant does have on the side of his. Excuse me, I'll get it out in a minute. Also, yeah, it was just all right there. Abram Ghost, who saw a truck in front of him there get a little sideways. He's actually right there with the 94 machine, too. You see Altus falling back on 15th spot here so far. And then the other sponsor here, Ryan Lewis right here. He's got the Uniformity truck. Last week, not the race that he wanted. Boy, it's probably one he wants to forget. Just wasn't his race. Maybe going to see if he can't bounce back this week. He's up 16th spot, 16th place right now, up 6 spots. So trying to come through the field. And Lane back here too, another one in 12th. We talked about him. Slowly but surely had a pretty good race last week. Caleb, with this style track, I mean, you can start coming through the field by just being patient. And I think that's what we're seeing right now is, I don't know who that was. What was that?
Is that Collins?
Let's see. Let's see who it is. Yep, Parker Collins. Yep.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
So
lap down.
he was involved in that wreck, and like you can see the truck is skewed. I'm
Yeah, I see that
don't
front, the right front. You see the right front?
yeah, it's
He might be coming on pit road.
yeah. He's got to be careful not to bring out a caution. He brings out a caution, I don't think people are going to be happy. Um, but yeah, you know, as long as he stays out of everyone's way and keeps it clean, you know, like the league name says, I think
Yeah.
everyone's gonna be fine. But yeah, that was sketchy. You know,
He's got
just
some damage. Yeah, he's coming on pit road. Unfortunately, just a lot of damage on the truck and making it hard to drive. I mean, this track's already hard enough to have a truck that's just totally hard to drive like that. I mean, doesn't help your feelings any. But man, Kruger out front, leading, Durant right there behind him, and Grant and Trash, man, these two guys, they've been going at it for the last couple times. That's actually brought Sherwood into the mix.
yeah. So I was actually looking at Grant off the corner exit of 4, and when he was coming up the corner, he had so much speed exiting the corner, he almost ran into the wall, which allowed Trask the speed and momentum down the straight. You know, as you see, Bob Sherwood making a move on Trask now.
Yeah, and this is perfect. It's a good view here too. I'm sorry, Kate, but it's a good view here. We were talking about earlier how that door's open. You can see right there with Trask how he's kind of diamonding in, which is what you want to do in this, you know, this track. You see, but Rob doesn't know. Do I have the opening? Do I need to put my nose in there? Obviously, the last lap, you're not going to worry about it. But is it a judgment call? I mean, that's kind of what I guess kind of what you got to look at, is it? You see right there, you got a little loose coming off the turn to the outside of.
Yeah, you know, depending on how the tires wear, you know, the outside might be the place you want to be. Oh, as he hits the wall, that might. I mean, he hit it square, so I think he's good. But I mean that was almost bad for both the 79 and the 93.
And you're going to see, I guess they should say the Dover right, because he tagged the wall coming. You see how those trucks kind of slide coming out of the turn? There's almost like a bump there. It's a transition between the turn and the actual straightaway or backstretch. And it can upset a truck or car. It's really weird. You've got to be inside the car. It's kind of hard to explain. I don't know, even if I go to a cockpit view, it's really hard to look at and explain. You got to feel it. It's one of those feeling type things. I mean, you see right here with Sherwood, watch as he comes out of the turn. You know, right there, yeah, you're like, oh, what are you talking about, Joe? It looks smooth there. Believe me, when you're inside that truck, you feel that transition, and the truck wants to almost shoot to the wall or kick right out from under you coming like that. If you're side by side with somebody, real easy to get loose on the inside of this.
Which also makes passing very difficult. You know, but I mean, Rob Sherwood made it look easy there. But you know, to go back to what you were saying, Dover is one of those field tracks. You really have to feel it, and and especially on corner exit. You know, corner entry is one thing, but to exit the corner, you have to keep the momentum. And with, you know, you were talking about earlier, but the entire track is banked. It's not flat on the straights. It is entirely banked. It is just a bowl. And you know, coming off the corner, you kind of see the wheels start to twitch right, and he's just kind of gliding the truck up towards the wall. He's trying to get as close to it as possible to keep the momentum going. I know some people that are watching have never done iRacing, don't have racing experience, so it's hard to explain. But yeah, you know, you're just trying to find the limit without killing the car, killing the truck. And Dover is one of those tracks where if you do it right, it's very rewarding.
And this is a tough track. I mean, it might look, you know, from the standpoint we are here, because you're sometimes fighting a tight style truck maybe going into the turn, but a lot of times coming out and through the turn, it can get very snappy loose on you. So it's one of those tracks where very, very difficult. You can see the run goes on. Jacob now falling back to 5th. Kruger and Duran, 2 trucks out front. You got Sherwood up to 3rd, Trask there in 4th. Tyler Honeycutt, wow, now that's a guy that last season almost made it to the Final 4 without winning a race, but he came close last week too from putting his name in the record books there of a win. Up to 5th right now, 6 spots. Let's go a little further on back here. We got Abram sitting in the 12th place spot. Hey, what's up, Jeff? How you doing out there? I appreciate everybody tuning in. Oh, Abram right now, he's back. Evan Kinney, they're in 11th place spot. Lane, been kind of quiet right now, but he's up to 10th. He's up 8 spots a little bit. Joshua Altus, we talk about him. I talk about him week to week there. He's in the Black Machine this week. He, is one of them drivers where I speak about this. He's kind of, quiet, patient, waits till the last part of the race. I guarantee you'll find him up at the top by the end of this race, somewhere up there in that top 5, top 10 range. Right now, sitting in 13th. Dusty Martin, got a fan club out there too, so good old Dusty running pretty good there in 14th. Tyler Pursley, he's kind of a hard charger right now. He's up 11 spots there in 15th spot. And Joe Spinelli, which we call him Spinelli, who unfortunately last week, again, another race that he probably, Caleb wanted to say, don't want nothing to do with, because he had a heck of a hit last week. Had one of them Spinaroonies. So,
yeah, he had a Spinelli.
Yeah,
I hate it. I hate it for him. I'm sure he loves his last name. And I'm sorry. This is my apology to Joe Spinelli. This is my apology. I'm sorry for what we've done. But it is.
Hope we
what it
don't
is.
jinx him. Let's say it that way. Hope we don't jinx him.
Yeah, I hope not. I would love to see this race go green, especially considering we are within 10 laps of our first pit stops.
Yes.
So at any point now, we could see a pit stop happen. We've seen Jacob Grant start falling back. Could he be the first one to make the jump and lead everyone on pit road?
Yeah, true. I like the Bucky's truck there, too. Old Zach Peterson bringing it out. Ryan Lewis right there, which I've caught him a couple times. Ray Lewis. He's not the football player, but Ryan Lewis. He's out here. He's actually in the uniformity machine. Having a little better run this week. Hanging on right there at the 18th place spot. You got a good battle going on behind him, though. Garner, Murphy, and Clark. Those guys going at each other in that 19th, 21st spot back here. We're seeing a little bit further on back Gerber. And you were talking earlier, Caleb, the ones that did not make the field. Would it be Jason Kratz, Mike Kelly, and Jason Higginbotham? I said, right? And Ross Tatum actually out of the race. As you see, Collins is the only one on pit
we got
road.
a caution.
You got a caution here, but Ross Tatum out of this race. Let's go back here and see. Oh, Jordan Brockle involved with this one. He's in that 84 machine. Let's see. He just loops it. Hard to work. That's Dover for you right there. That's it. I guarantee. Oh, and I don't know who the number 4 just tried to get slowed down.
That's Turner.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and there's your leaders.
Yeah, they
Oh, there's Jacob.
Yeah, they had to get woed up quick, didn't they?
Yeah, that's great driving by the drivers to avoid him. It's so easy to do what we just saw there from Brockville, but when the truck starts to get sideways, especially at Dover, it's so easy to overcorrect and just end up in the wall, and you just kind of have yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Kruger probably better pull out your 4-leaf clover there, because that was close. And Duran,
and
those two guys, man, just slipped by.
Yeah, and I mean, all the leaders behind. I mean, you've seen Jacob Grant sideways coming off the corner just to avoid him. But we should be seeing everyone on pit road now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I really hope it goes green. because I want to see how green flag pit stops are managed. I really, really do. And I really hope that we can go green. I know I've said it and I'm going to say it again. I really hope we go green.
Well, and it's a tough track. I mean, you know, it is the Clean Racing League. I always say it's in their name. It's clean racing. And for the most part, they do. There's just going to be some tracks that are terrible opposed to other tracks. No matter how good of drivers they are on some tracks are just breaded. I think you've raced them, I've raced them, and it's like, I don't know.
Dover is not a bad track. And I know that's not what you were saying. What I'm saying is
tough track to drive.
It is a tough track to drive. Tough track to drive. Sorry. However, it is a very fun track for league racing if we can go green. And I've said it again, and I'll say it again as well. If we can go green, this will be a very fun race. So,
but wouldn't that be for every race?
What do you mean?
Kind of would be for every race, would it? Fun, go green. Well, I guess if it's a momentum track. If we're talking about Auto Club, probably not, because if you're back in like 15th place spot, you're never going to get to the front in Auto Club. You want a caution there.
It's very easy. It is very easy to make up time, but also lose time at this track. One mistake, you've lost 2 seconds. Auto Club, it is what
you're not making time. Yeah, it's easy. It's easier to lose time on a track like that than it is to gain. So you want the cautions at Auto Club, but usually you don't get them. You don't want the cautions here, and unfortunately, sometimes you get them. But you know what? Out front, Kruger and Durant. I'm gonna tell you, they got to be teammates because the way they're working together. You know, back out front, they have not punched their ticket in a win, but they have been very dominant from the start of the season. And maybe, you know, we spoke about this a couple times here too. You know, Caleb, you can be over aggressive, and maybe that's. I get it if they're uncharted trucks. Maybe they have this sense of urgency of we have to prove ourselves. We have to prove something. Well, lack of a better word, I don't really mean anything, but maybe dial it down just a touch. Maybe being over aggressive, trying too hard sometimes, you know, get yourself into trouble. Not to say that they're not fast, not to say that they're not, because they've proven that. I mean, they're definitely dominant drivers, dominant fast. But maybe sometimes getting themselves in, you know, thinking that they have to prove over too much early on. Because at this point, hey, I'm seeing the talent on the track. And, you know, if I'm a race, let's say, owner and was looking for a driver, I'd be like, hey, okay, here's 2 drivers, man, uncharted. I'll start talking to them.
Yeah, and the aggression thing. If one of these 2 drivers do not win this race, maybe they should reevaluate the way things are done.
Right.
Because, you know, last week, dominant performance by the 44-2. Joshua Altus wins the race. Tonight, like I said, if one of those 2 drivers do not win this race, maybe reevaluate what's going on. But, you know, so far, nobody can even come close to him.
And last week was the same. I don't know how much you watched last week. This is pretty much the same picture that I saw the entire race. And just unfortunate there at the end, Durant got kind of in trouble there. Got caught behind the 8 ball on a caution pit stop type of deal. And then Kruger kind of got caught on an incident up front. Just, you know, racing hard type thing. But really, Caleb, this picture right here you're seeing is pretty much what I saw the entire race last week. And that takes me back to what I was saying is they're fast, and I agree with you. If you can't seal the deal here tonight or within the coming weeks by being this dominant, then maybe think about, okay, are we being over aggressive, or we're doing what are we not doing? Because racing's an art. You know, there's Caleb is. You got to have that full package. You know, the pit stops, the making no mistakes on the track, the being able to have a fast machine. You know, and being there at the end too to win the race. So you got to be able to put it all together. You know, sometimes the fastest truck or car is not always the one that wins all the time.
Yeah, and that comment right there is why I stopped racing. It's irritating. No, in all seriousness, they are driving beautifully right now,
Yes.
and as long as they can stay out of trouble, and you know the cautions are few and far between, I feel like one of those two drivers will win this race. You know, you do have Rob Sherwood behind. You know, we haven't really seen anything out of Joshua Altus yet.
He's up to 10th.
But
He's been able to move up a little bit. It's just
yeah,
battle
but
back here
you know,
around 13th. You know, got your Ryan Lewis there, Peterson, and Ghost.
yeah, and you know, do we have a caution?
Do have a caution. Oh, Wayne Statman got him out there too. Oh, that's the cow truck. Got a little early. Let's go back.
Oh,
See what transpired before. Did he get loose? He was loose a little bit coming out of that turn. And the 74 was with each other. But looks a little loose. Yeah. Okay, he got loose and got a little bump. That's kind of one of them racing things. Nothing. Oh, blinking. Okay.
yeah, that's what I was reacting to. So,
Hmm.
I should also mention earlier when I was talking about the whole, you know, when the truck disappears, you have to race him as if he's there. That is why, you know, because he
Well,
wasn't
in
back
Chapman's
there.
defense, he didn't see him because
Yeah,
Fred was behind him. Usually blinking in front. And that instance right there was basically Fred was behind him and blinked, unfortunately, on Fred's part. So Chapman had no idea blinked on that one, and that was just kind of one of those. Now that's kind of a flip one. That's unique because normally we're used to seeing the truck in front blink, not one behind, and kind of right there was Fred blink, and then by the time he came back, guess what? There's a truck on him. Yeah. Usually we see it the other way around.
I don't know what the 20 was doing. You know,
He was doing.
no, like you seen him on the wall, and Fred was in the middle of the track. You know, Frederick Garcia at 77. He was in the middle of the track. Of course, he was invisible. You couldn't see him.
Right.
But you see the 20 on the wall, and he swerved down, which causes
Because there
the
was
contact.
nothing down there.
Yeah, but I mean, there was other trucks down there looking. You know,
Watch
they were
again.
technically 3.
Watch again. There's nobody down there. See,
Yeah, but there's
Fred
another truck.
blinks. Fred blinks. See, he never sees him. So I'm coming down. I don't see a truck. Then all of a sudden, boom! There's a truck. So
Yeah,
there's
but
nothing
the
the
red
20
and white
did
truck.
wrong on that end there. That's just basically one of those connections. I mean, neither one of them trucks did. That's a connection thing. That's all that. That's all that was. Let's see. Unfortunate. You know, we talked about it a million times, Caleb. We're online. You know, I hate it. We're online now. Again, I've never. To be honest with you, I don't think I've ever. I mean, I've seen a many of trucks blink on iRacing, many, and I've seen a many of accidents happen. Like, you know, like what you mentioned, a truck blink, come back, and guess what? You're in the middle of it. I don't think I've ever seen an accident like that, where the truck behind one, and then he appears and they collide. I've never seen it that way. That's kind of maybe a first for me.
Yeah, I've never seen an accident like that where like it disappears and it's still collision.
Yeah.
You know, but I have seen them disappear and then they reappear in trucks, like other truck. But nothing like that. Like that.
Yeah,
That's
that was just strange. Bad time.
I will say the way the 44 and the 2 are jumping the line and getting these jumps. I'm going to have. Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. They got to be working together.
Working together are teammates. One. They are. They are on cue with each other. I saw this all last week. They did the same exact thing last week. They got out front. They dominated the starts. They got out there. It wasn't until, obviously they got split up. And the problem, was running a caution here, Kyle Payne. But the problem is the guys behind him ended up, racing each other. These players who happened to Kyle started racing each other. And then they were able to walk away a little bit. And we see a truck right there, and Kyle just know where to go. That's actually, the 20 again. Is what, Chapman?
Yeah.
Chapman spinning again.
See if he just has a little bit of contact coming off the wall.
Yeah.
He's in there.
I'll just lose it. Wow.
Oh, who did he take out?
Payne just nowhere to go. Kyle Payne.
Yeah, we don't know if the 20 had damage from the contact before. Well, he definitely does now. But
get that man some milk.
some milk, maybe a steak. Who knows?
Yeah, he needs something.
Get him something, man.
He ain't having the night he wants. Oh, just unfortunate night there, man, for Chapman and company in the back. But we was talking about the two guys out front here, Kruger and Duran. I saw them dominating last week, and with them working together so well up front, it's putting a strain back here on Traz, Sherwood, and Grant. It's going to take, I think, a team maybe to get up here and battle with these guys. I know, Lynn, I know you were out there talking about Chapman, and just unfortunately Chapman's just not the night he wants. He's on pit road right now. And you know what? Another truck that's Tyler Honeycutt. I don't know what happened to him, but he is a lap down. I don't remember him getting in a wreck.
Yeah, I
But
don't.
somehow
I
he is way back in 28th spot, a lap down. He's pretty much going to get. Good news is, if there's a caution, he'll be the lucky dog if he stays where he's at. Bad news is, like you said, he's a lap down somehow because he was up front, top 15 or so, top 10. Don't recall when he went to the back. So maybe got caught on one of those pit stops. So we just didn't catch him. Ain't for him so far, but have to go back green. I mean, hey, Miles the monster. Caught the monster mile. Miles, he likes chewing up on sheet metal.
One of, earlier I was bringing up, cautions breed cautions. I think we're at a point now where we're about to be halfway in the race. Maybe now, now since a few trucks have been taken out, we've seen a wreck in the lead to start our race. If I'm a driver and I'm seeing these trends happening within the race, do you kind of just fall in line, pick them off one by one? Because we were talking about that a few races back. I don't remember what track, but just kind of falling in line, picking them off one by one, saving tires and all that. But I mean, I don't think we're getting long enough runs to where they can't.
Yeah, and that's kind of a double-edged sword to this track here, because you still got to be careful here. It's a tough place to pass. You see now, Trask was able to get a good jump with these guys. So we'll see if anybody's able to get up here and race with them. I mean, Kruger and Durant have proven they are deadly fast when they get out front. They got Grant back here. But I'm with you on that one. If you start seeing a trend of, we're going to get into some cautions, and unfortunately it is one of the tracks, or you have races where you just don't know. We've talked about this a many times in the Clean Racing League. I think the mentality coming into these any race here is basically, okay, it's going to be caution free, and then just kind of go from there. I mean, look at Lane Hoosler. He's up 13 spots right now. You got Tyler Persley back on 11th up 15. We're at what lap right now? 66 and 135. I think it may be at this point, just from what I'm seeing, maybe just stick to what you've been doing. Try to pick him off. I mean, it's working for Hoosler right now. But I'm with you. Like where he's sitting at here, Caleb, he's going to need a long green flag run. If the cautions keep, coming, which could benefit him, and then again it couldn't. Because those two guys up front are working very well in the restarts. I think, long green flag run. I mean, maybe we'll start seeing, hopefully, Grant's, Simley up doing good too here. Sherwood, Traz and company back there. Some of these guys coming up, but on top of my head, I think the two guys out front, I think they've got, what's that old saying? A chip on their shoulder. I think they have something to prove. Not being chartered, coming in here, great league. I love Clean Racing League. Been broadcasting it for a while now, and I enjoy it. I enjoy what Chris has done and Fred done in the past. You've been up here in the booth with me, and watching these drivers week in and week out. It's fantastic. But I think they're coming out here not being chartered, saying, hey, look, we're kind of the underdog, so to speak, out here. We're kind of the no-names coming into a league that has a bunch of named drivers that have been here for a long time. I think they feel like they have a lot to prove. Sometimes we go back to what I was talking about earlier. That can get you in trouble, or that can make you with a lot of success. We'll have to see how well their psyche is. We talked about Hoosler there, Caleb, how close he's been the last couple seasons on the championship and how that plays the psyche. Oh, same way with this up front with these two guys.
Yeah. One thing I will say, and before we get into that, Tyler Honeycutt was black. Yeah, Tyler Honeycutt was black. Let's say Tyler Honeycutt was black flag running fourth. They had a little bit of issues under the caution, and he was black flag, had a service penalty. Everything's good now, but he's a lap down.
Okay.
But back to this, when you have these new drivers come in, they're associated to nobody. They do not have a charter. They have to race their way into every single race, and they come in here and they are doing what these two gentlemen are doing. I mean, at what point, Lane Hoosler, he's got something to prove. He's, I think, a two-time champion, but he won his championships when the seasons were like 3-4 races. They're definitely not 3-4 races anymore. They're 15, and there's a playoff system. We don't do caution points anymore. It's just not points based. So it is a completely different system than when he won his first championships. But when you have these guys coming here, that is with some of the wall back there. But when you have these guys coming here that have no connection to the league and they're running up front, and I mean dominating, it goes back to the whole psyche thing you were talking about. What do you do to challenge them?
Get your team together and talk about it. I mean that because right now we talk. I don't know folks out there, and I appreciate Jeff, man, as always. You get your team together, and again, I don't know 100%. I'm just going off what I'm seeing. Those two guys are teammates, or they're working together quite well. They're connected somehow together, working together. But with that said, you brought up a good question there. We know there's teams out here, the only dads, the one who actually has dominated win-wise. Those guys are going to have to say, okay, what we're doing right now is not working. Yes, we might be getting some wins, but the thing about it is if Kruger and Duran keep running like they're running, they're going to win. All right, they're going to get it in victory lane, whether it be tonight or whether it be in the next coming weeks. I guarantee you, before the season's over, one of those drivers is going to be in victory lane. Okay. With that said, like you said, it's a matter of when they get into that playoffs, if they can make the playoffs and not be chartered, by the way?
They can make the playoffs, and they can compete for a championship They will not receive any prizes, no payouts, no nothing, because they did not pay money for a charter.
Okay. But so they still could
it's-
be a champion in the Clean Racing League. So let's hypothetically go a little bit into that. Where these two guys I think might get really dangerous, so to speak, on the track is when it gets in the playoffs, because they are working like a deadly team right now. And I'm with you, Caleb. You brought up that great question. What do you do? Well, as a team, you might want to start getting together as a team and start talking. Okay, guys, I know some of us, man, we have our own racing style. We have our own this and that. Maybe we need to start looking at these two guys, because they are running very, very well together and they have a very good system. Something that they're doing is doing right. And, you know, whether it pays off at the end of the season or whether it pays off at all, what they're showing on track, it's paying off and it's working as a team. So I'm with you. I think if you're a team owner or you're in a team right now, I think you sit back and you watch and you go, okay, these guys are working together. We need to maybe, you know, we can't have our team spread out throughout the field. Maybe we need to start, you know, hey, okay, who's our strongest in our team? Because, you know, unfortunately, I've always had to be strongest or weakest in the team. I don't know how big it is. Yeah, Eric Anderson back there is getting a little sideways watching the battle here on the track. But just in a nutshell, real quick, just to say, I think as a team, you need to just get together and kind of have a brainstorm a little bit. See, Eric Anderson back there fighting that truck. That's just a product of Dover right now.
I don't. Excuse me. Sorry. I don't think they are the most.
Who has a?
I don't think those two.
Hold on, man. Well, I just got information here, Caleb, that the 2 does have a charter.
The 2 does have a charter?
That's what Mike Kelly just came up. And if it's Mike Kelly who I'm thinking of, and I'm going to go out on a limb. I know who Mike Kelly is. And Mike Kelly races in another league that I've done. I've broadcasted.
Oh, okay.
And Mike Kelly is he's a fast driver. And if he's part of that team, and if this is one of the drivers, and that's why I'm seeing kind of this. So, okay, Durant has a charter, so Kruger probably is the one that does not then. Okay? Well, Mike, if you're out there watching, because obviously you're listening, is Durant and Kruger teammates because they are working together like they are teammates?
Not gonna lie, kind of upset at myself. I didn't remember that. I forgot he had a charter. That's on me. It is what it is. We will go on. However,
look, we can keep up with everything, folks, up here. In a nutshell, Durant is a new driver, though, and that's another thing we didn't know. You know, he is a new driver to the league, so that's good. And I did not know that he was associated with Mike Kelly. Actually tried to qualify tonight, hit the wall on qualifying. Actually, there you see the name out there too. So, Mike, I'm gonna tell you what, man, you jumped. I know I've done some broadcasting for another league that you've done, which is, you know, another exceptional league done years ago. You picked a good one here to try to get into. You know, I would say, hey, keep trying on the qualifying thing, man. You're gonna get up in here. For the most part, it's in the name Clean Racing League. But yeah, and so we know now Durant is a charter driver. Feel fast. So that leaves then Kruger. I mean, as you can see, he's got a huge lead right now, 1.8 seconds. I mean, gone.
Yeah, I'm just double checking the charter list again.
Double check that one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Kruger doesn't have a charter. I'm gonna go.
No, he does not. However, I feel like our points, other than the charter points, still stand. These 2 drivers are still new, and this is our 5th race of the season, and these drivers have come in here.
And we see another one-time, like Tatum.
A rookie season champion.
Ross Tatum, who unfortunately is out tonight. I mean, our defending champ out tonight.
the good news is he's already won. He's locked into the playoffs. Um, but yeah,
What
I
happened to him
mean,
though? What happened to him?
I
'Cause he
don't,
didn't even
I
make
don't
us.
know.
I don't even think he made a start. Yeah, I don't even think he made a start. We do have pit stops, by the way. You said you wanted to see with some of the green flag pit stops. We got Jordan Trask and Clark coming on board, so it's getting close to where that time. And the leaders on pit road with Durant. Yeah, those two guys are working. They're you can't tell me that they are not somehow working together. They are, and that is a Caleb. I don't know about you, man, but that right there is what I call a unit that is working well as a team, like a well-oiled machine, so to speak. Not to take anything away from many other teams out here, but these two guys look like they're just on the same page.
One thing I will say is even if they are not working together, it's very hard to undercut and overcut at a track like Dover. I know you can probably make up time and
Right.
with the tires and everything, but it was probably in the two's best interest to pit with him. Just to lose the least amount of time possible.
Well, then
Because
why
I mean,
wouldn't
look,
you do
he's
that if you were Sherwood right behind him or Hoosler?
um.
Because that's a good point you brought up that. I mean, if it's, whoa, now we saw him come out of the turn there. That's cold tires right there, folks. But yeah, I mean, you brought up a good point. That's a good point. It would be, if they're not, it would be in his best interest of the two to do it. Then why wouldn't it be in the best interest of, let's say, Hoosler and Sherwood, who are running right behind him also?
So, depending on the seconds or the interval that they were behind, there's a certain time to where there's really nothing you can gain by pitting with them. You kind of have to try something else. And we've seen it at different tracks, and we'll see it again this season if we have green flag pit stops, which I know we will. But you'll see people undercut, overcut, and you'll see them do these different things if they're like 3, 4, 5 seconds back. Because if they pit with them, they're just gonna keep that same interval. You kind of have to have a little bit of luck on your side doing the undercut, overcut. We'll see it, and we'll see how this plays out for Lane and Rob Sherwood, and there's Josh Wallace who's right behind him.
I got another little info here. Mike's actually throwing his stuff up here, and he said he's not sure on the teammates between them because it does not show in the team roster channel that he's with. So that goes back to that question of if they're not teammates, they are definitely on the same page. Must be hooked up psychically with each other because they are working like they are very well. But meanwhile, Hoosler out front, and they took a shorter pit here. Hoosler's going for the longer style pit. Now at some point, unless a caution flies, I think you've got to pit because you're giving up time. And you want enough time to be able to run these guys back down on the, towards the end. Unless he's banking on a caution later on in the race, which could happen. It is Dover. We'll just have to see. What's up, Go Fast? Yeah, I hate to see, man, you got the damage on that. If the damage got damage, he just got loose on the trucks. I guess that's actually the 20. It's Go Fast, pit pass. Oh, so he did have some. That must have been the 20 truck. Chapman out there is talking. He said he got had damage and just got loose. You asked, you wasn't sure if he had damage. I'm gonna take it that's Chapman letting us know that maybe he just had a little damage on that truck.
I will say with the 61 truck of Lane Hoosler here, the longer he stays out, if you pit now, you can make it to the end. This is where we're kind of starting to see all these pit stops. We're about 5, 7 laps into the pit cycle with the which will be the eventual leaders, the 44 and the 2.
What's the pit window?
However, 50 laps.
Duran can make it then. Duran can make. He's put it at lap 91,
Yeah.
so he's good.
Yeah, no, yeah, no. Anyone that's pitted that started that cycle is good to the end.
Okay.
With the 61, he's pitting now though. I think what he was thinking, and you know, I've done it. I think everyone's tried it. Smoke from the 43, but if you drag your stint on and you save your tires and you're not losing too much time, you can pit and, you know, instead of having a 45 lap run to the end, you've now shortened it to 30, 29 laps, something in there, and you can push even harder. Which
I'm looking at the times. Dude, that's interesting you brought that up. Joshua Altus ran a 52.75. Well, excuse me, it's a pit time. Last was a 25.42 to Kruger's 24 like 08. So a little over a second, maybe right around second half, give or take. Our fall off is not as bad as I would think.
I think we're seeing the 44 and the 2 try really hard to get back into the lead lap. They know we've seen cautions. They know because they've been pacing. I think they're trying to get back to the leader because they don't know what he's going to do. And I think that's him right there, the 44 truck. But yeah, no, I think
right
once
there.
the 44, I think we're either going to see Joshua Altus pit here,
Ooh,
or we're going to...
Well, that truck's loose.
I think he's going to pit here because now he's... Yeah, so you see Rob Sherwood come in behind him. I think Josh is going to do another lap.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at this point, I mean,
know,
you've already let...
Isn't Altus and Sherwood teammates?
Yeah, that's SMB.
Okay, see now, all right, this goes back to that question you were talking about before. On the same page. I get it. You want to stay out, you got your own thing. But maybe we just answered our own question on how do you beat those other guys if they start doing what they're doing. We got to be on a better page as a team. Maybe should have both came in at that same time right there. Pit stops, we've seen it, win and lose races. And we see Altus right now, he's giving up a lot of time on the track. I get it, when he gets new tires, he's going to be fast. But he is giving up a lot of time on the track. So at what point, where is the give and take here? Because, now he's in trouble. He's getting to the point where he's getting in trouble. You see what I mean? See, that truck is just awful loose. It's time to come in. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with you. He's got to do something, but at the same time, I think he is trying to drag it out as long as he knows his race is done.
Yeah, but you know, too. I'm sorry, okay, but I mean, we are speaking about Altus, okay? I mean, I ain't take nothing away from him. He's a champ. He wins races, so I don't want to sit up here and question everything he does. But you brought up that point earlier, and it was a good point.
Yeah, I mean, he can't do anything now. He's about to get freight trained by the trucks behind. This is...
You don't want to be the caution. You want a caution, but you don't want to be the caution.
Well, if you're the caution, you're screwed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is, I wouldn't say a dangerous game. I feel like he's got a plan. But
what's the plan? I mean, well, I'll give you my opinion on the plan. If he pits now, which... Now those drivers behind him, they're all on new tires. They're going to be way faster. They're going to try not to run him over. The problem is that's easier said than done.
Hang on.
See right there.
Is that did Jacob Grant and Trask get by the two of Duran?
Yes, they did. Yep, they did.
See, this is what I'm going on about. This is what we were talking about earlier. And, you know, you can see that truck's really loose now. They are really aggressive in the beginning, and then they lose it towards the end.
Well, Kruger's still up there. Now, remember also, too, they're running on a little older tires, which we've not really talked much about tires. I guess the good news here for Kruger, who has been one of the major dominant trucks tonight, He's about 7 seconds ahead of Simley, 8 seconds ahead of Trask, and 9 seconds ahead of Grant. Unless he just drastically falls off, because his last lap time was a 24:55, and even they were only running 24:60. So with that lap different time-wise, they're not going to catch him for the end of this race. My question now is, at some point, Altus, what are you doing? Again, I don't want to question the man because, hey, look, he's a champ. He knows what he's doing, but I'm kind of confused on what he's doing.
You get 4 extra sets of good years in the pits for this race. He's only used 1, 2 sets.
But his time's going to run out, and it's just not going to matter. He's going to be so far back.
But as it sits right now, he's sitting in first. Kruger has yet to catch him, and no one else is
back.
Yeah, but no one else is even close to him. But caution comes out now. Everyone behind him is going to pit again because no one wants to be out there on those old tires, especially on a cheese grater like Dover. So I mean, I feel like I feel like he's going as far as he can. He knows his race is over. He's already locked into the playoffs. He's got nothing to lose.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I thought about it. Yeah, he is locked in that place. So it's really kind of just let me do a gamble and see. I'm with you. I think I'm gonna go with that one. I'm with you. I think it's pretty much he knows he's locked in. Let's see what I can gamble here. It's kind of unorthodox for him though. Usually we don't see him gamble a lot. He's more of a.
Ooh.
Yeah, right there. That's just new tires versus old tires there.
I think his tire. Oh, excuse me. Hey, Jon Snow, come on.
Hey, look.
It's man, it's about 45 minutes past my bedtime here on the East Coast
man,
here.
You know what? You're
so, but I mean, look.
Can he make it all the way? That's my next question.
He is sideways.
But can he make it all the way? Moyer on pit road. Kruger is now 7 seconds. Kruger's going to catch you. There's no way in 17 laps Kruger does not catch. Oh, it is in a what? Yeah. I don't know what Altus. Yeah, he's got to come up with that right there.
Oh no!
Don't bring it.
Save it. Good save.
Okay. I'm just kind of curious as if this was just. Well, if you're gonna spin, he's not spinning on that. Yeah, that's what you call cooked tires, there, folks. That gives the lead over to Kruger. I'm not sure. Maybe this was just one of those. Hey, look, I wasn't going to win the race anyways. Maybe just an experiment by Altus. You know, I'm going to chalk it as that. Maybe it's like, you know what, I just want to see how far I can go on a truck that's just wicked. But we go back to this man. We talked about it. If they don't put it in victory lane tonight, it's going to come. Right now, as long as he doesn't make a mistake, Scott Simley, matter of fact, I know that name. I knew Scott Simley. Hold on a minute, Mike. Is that Scott Simley from... Yes. Never mind. Answer my question. All right, Caleb, I know you're not familiar with Scott Simley. He's a new driver, and he's Uncharted. I know he's got to be Uncharted. Because he doesn't run in this league very often. He runs in another league that I've done before in the past. A very fast driver. I call him Smiley. Scott Smiley. Because he's always smiling. I don't know why this whole entire race I did not. The name didn't click until I saw Mike Kelly. They are teammates, matter of fact. As you can see, he's very fast also. Another one to watch out for here throughout the season. If he keeps on here in the league, and hope so, because good guys, man, good racers. But I'm going to go back to what I'm saying is, at this point, unless Kruger just messes up, you see the lap times. There's not enough difference between lap times, a 24.9 to a 25.07. He's going to need half second to seconds to run down a 6 second gap with 12 laps to go.
Yeah, I like you said, there's not much difference in the lap times. I mean, it's like a tenth too. I mean, that's really nothing to really bring it in. But I mean, what, 2 uncharted trucks up there?
Yes. This is his first race too, by the way.
Yeah, I was informed about the driver before the race. I did not know he was running second. With all the pit stops and everything until you said something.
Well, I totally
but-
slipped my mind. And I should have recognized the name. And then Mike out there sent me a message, and I went, I know who Mike is. And then I just happened to see Scott Simlin, and it light bulb went off. I'm gonna say this. This is interesting because we talk about Lane Hoosler, who in the last 2 seasons has been the dominating truck here in the Clean Racing League. Again, I don't take anything away from anyone else because they're all fast here and they're all clean. But we know Lane in the regular season has just been deadly fast. I think he's got competent. We said last season, who's going to step up to the plate and take Lane, knock him off? I think we're starting to see it. I think we've got some players out here, and it's going to be a fun season, I think.
Yeah, and if this race ends the way it's ordered now, this will be 5 out of 5 races we've had a different winner. And
nice.
that's great.
Chris is grinning ear to ear, right?
I wouldn't be too sure about that. He's driving right now. I don't know where he's at, but he's
in 20th right now, and we haven't really talked much about him. But and I got to give my hats off here to Chris. All the sponsors we talked about, the sponsors, Uniformity, Sports Academy, the Clean Racing League. Check him out at cleanracingleague.com. Chris Smith, who took over the helms a couple seasons ago from Frederick, who did an outstanding job, man, maintaining this league throughout the whole entire, years that it was. But, Chris done great. And when I say got a truck around and yellow, I don't know, this is going to change everything.
Oh, no.
Forget about what I said about being able to catch them, because this is going to be interesting now. But that's actually Duran. Wow, one of the trucks that was, him and the 89 just got together. It's kind of like what happened to him last week. Disaster at the end of the race. We'll watch it one more time. Just him and the 89. Looks like he's just a little bit loose. And then him and the 89 just got together. They were side by side. Just both guys taking the same real estate, Yeah. I don't know who to put that one on.
It's a racing incident. You got the two who's trying to get
everybody on pit road here, Caleb. You called it.
Yeah, like I said, it's a cheese grater of a track. It's one of the last concrete tracks. You said it in the pre-race. It's one of the last concrete tracks. You put the weather up. I didn't see it, but I know no matter what, it's a terrible track to drive on with tires. How's the best way I can explain it to someone that hasn't done it before? Imagine driving a boat on land with soap on the ground. That's about the best way I can describe it. A heavy boat on land with soap on the ground, and you're just sliding everywhere. I mean, you've seen it with Joshua Altus. I mean, you've seen it. I mean, we've seen it all race, and I'm sure everyone in this race will agree. It's going to be green, white, checkered. You said.
I think it is. Well, it says 5 to go. It might be green, white, checkered. By the time we go through it here.
So, I've been in the position of being in first. When Joshua Altus and Rob Sherwood had the S&B Cup Series, and that's where I won my first league race here at Dover in the Cup Series. I will say it was one of those things where I knew another caution was going to happen, but I hoped that it wouldn't come out. Because when you're lining up in first, you know you can go whenever you want.
Yeah.
You know that you are the guy. Nobody can pass you before the line. As long as you get the jump, you're good to the end. He's been dominant all race. All he's got to do is just make these last 2 laps count, and first of all, get back to the white flag. That's all he's got to do.
Yeah.
The next flag ends the race.
Well, he's hoping that Lane gets back there and battles with the assembly. You know, those two battle, and maybe Sherwood Company, and like you said, Kruger gets to jump. This changes everything. We're going to have our first green-white checkered here attempt. Lights will go off on the pace truck next time by. Kruger's been dominant all race long, but this is kind of what happened last week. Dominant all late last week, and a green-white checkered style start, was able to get up here and he started battling and he got himself into trouble. Wow.
So the 44's got to be very. They're all on fresh tires.
Yes.
I don't think anyone will take a chance not doing that.
Yeah, everybody pitted it all the way back to. Yeah, it's showing everyone all the way back to 16th place spot pitted.
So
you got a few Becker, Stevens back there that didn't pit, but they pitted on lap 114, 112. Altus pitted on, obviously, he didn't come in. He pitted at 19, but they were lapped down. They had to take the wave around. That's why.
If I'm Kruger in the 44, I have to position my truck and launch it in a spot to where I know the 61 that's behind me and the 33 that's outside of me cannot match my speed. So do you go right before the exit of the corner? Do you go in the restart zone? Where does he take off?
You're the expert, Caleb. You tell me.
Well, I mean, right about now would be good.
Right about now, okay. Yeah. Well, he goes as soon as he got it straight. He got it straight on the straight, so he didn't spin the tires. Good launch, man, by him. Kruger gets a good jump. Now it's going to be on, and I'm going to tell you what, Simley, man, boy, he was smiling with that move because he got around Lane, and that's actually going to help him because he knows now he's got to go. Truck around in the back of the wall, but it stays green here. As we're going to stay up. Can Simley, man, pull it off? We're going to make it to the white flag. Let's see. We are. This race is official. Does Scott got anything for Kruger? Or Kruger going to finally punch his ticket in? He's only going to have a couple more turns. Don't want to make a mistake. Lane's trying everything. Good run off the turn there by Krugers. He's going in 3 and 4 final time. And as long as he does not slip up, I think he's got this one in the bag. A dominating performance tonight by that man right there, Michael Kruger. But Scott Simley in his first race here at the Clean Racing League. Caleb, outstanding job coming up here in second. Lane Oosler, as always, man, right there at the end, coming home in third. I'm going to tell you, and just right off top, two good hard chargers. Right there, Scott Simley, he come up 10 spots to get second. Hoosler 15 to get third. I'm going to tell you, that truck right there is a truck to keep an eye on. Kruger. I'm going to say Duran also. He just had, unfortunately, some problems tonight. Scott Simley, if he keeps up here, will be another one to keep an eye on as long as they keep making these fields. This is going to be an interesting season, I think, so far.
Yeah, I mean, five races, 5 winners.
But I kind of botched my qualifying lap. That kind of put me behind straight away, and I knew I knew if I could just settle in and run consistent laps, I could probably start to work my way toward the front. And those two kind of longer runs really helped. So I was able to make up a lot of time. I I knew that I didn't have the single lap speed of Michael and Justin, but I was just hoping.
What was kind of the process during the race?
last week dominate. Just unfortunate set of circumstances last week, but he finally punches his ticket in here to victory lane. Michael, Joy, the boots, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, we watched a dominating race last week by you and Duran, and y'all were out front there. Just some bad circumstances last week. Wasn't able to punch the victory. Tonight, though, dominating performance again. But was you worried that maybe a replay when that caution came out and you had to do another restart there at the end?
Yeah, I was worried a little bit. It wasn't ideal. I mean, we had a good lead there, and yeah, it kind of stung there to have that late yellow. But I mean, I just had to just make sure to execute on the restart, and not make a mistake, and make sure I got off pit road clean. Really. Yeah, it was. I just had to kind of just make sure to persevere there for the end and just be ready for that, because I just didn't anticipate to have that late yellow there when it came.
And this too here is kind of puts in a peculiar. First since the chartered series here, an unchartered truck going to be in the playoffs. But going forward now, since you do have to qualify yourself into every race, what is the mentality now? Is it, do you keep running as hard as you run to maybe just, hey, I want to win week in and week out? Or now do you kind of go, all right, look, I'm in there, let's just make these races and see what happens?
Yeah, really just kind of a little bit of both. I mean, I want to play safe and just make sure to get consistent finishes, but I mean, of course, go for wins. I mean, that's why all of us are here at the end of the day to sim races, to go chase wins. And I mean, we're just gonna go out and do what we've been doing pretty much so far for this season. Really, just of course doing it the right way. And
I mean, how much pressure do you think that puts on you and he? Well, he is chartered, but how much pressure does it put on yourself?
I mean, it's a good bit. It kind of feels nice to have the pressure to have to qualify in every week. I mean, despite the fact that like I screw up my hot lap, I could be out of the race and not even get a chance to compete. But I kind of like the pressure because it really forces you to perform and excel. And when you're charged, you're guaranteed. And such. Which I mean, it's good to be guaranteed, but when non-charred, it's kind of a thrill to kind of have to put yourself in and like execute and put a good lap down and not screw up your quality. I'd say
Yeah.
I'd say it just kind of brings the mentality of like go out and get as much as you can with no charter than it would be to be chartered, in my opinion.
There you go, chasing the thrill, man. And tonight you definitely had that thrill. Got it, Victory Lane. Dominating performance here tonight. You got anybody want to thank man for that awesome win?
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for putting on for CRL and just my teammates Justin Duran and Cameron Caldwell from Radius Racing. Thank those guys for everything, for having me a part of their team, representing them, and just you know, all the good stuff they've done for me here to consider me a teammate for them.
Absolutely. Well, there you go, man. That's old Michael, man, bringing it home tonight. And you know, Caleb kind of answered our questions there. Yes, they are teammates. So that brings about that means that what you talked about earlier is something that now a lot of the teams here might need to buckle down. Something that's not been talked about really heavily here in the Clean Racing League. Y'all know we've got some good teams here, but now they might have to say, uh-oh, we've got two guys out here that are working together in unison with each other very, very well. Maybe we need to start working on our team strategies a little bit going forward, since they are in now very dominant. Could be something interesting to watch as the series goes on.
Yeah, and you know, I heard you talk to him during the interview. You know, the first unchartered truck to lock himself in. So that should be interesting to see how that goes. But next week at when we're at Texas, we have a new thing. It's the best of the best,
Nice.
and it's going to take all 40 drivers, and it's going to put them in a bracket, and it's going to be like March Madness style 1v1s, and it's going to go. And it's going to be that way until Darlington.
Did
Until
we have that last
just
season?
one.
Something like that last season?
We did, but it was the best of the rest. So it was the best
Okay.
of everyone in the playoffs who didn't make it. This is everyone. So
Nice.
we'll have an eventual winner at Darlington, and that should be very exciting to see how that plays out. But like I said, next week we're at Texas. I don't know if it's new or old, so we'll figure it out when we get there.
Well, folks, man, I hope you enjoyed it. It's going to be an interesting season from here on out here at the Clean Racing League. Now you've got chartered drivers versus unchartered drivers. You got teams versus teams, and it's going to be good. We've got some new faces, old faces, man, on the like here. Appreciate everybody tuning in because it was a good race here at Dover. We're going to leave it here tonight. For myself and everyone, have a good night.